afternoon, everyone. My name is Latasha Martin, and I'm not sure if anyone can hear me online. Can you try to Facebook? I'm not sure if you can hear me online, but today is a special episode of Techie Tasha Teaches. It's in partnership, but I'm not going to be able to share the organization. All I will say is that at the end, I'll have some. If you have a question, you can inbox me, and I can let you know the location of these live classes, but I did want to share this content with those of you who are on live, just in case you can't make it in. And this is just, like I said, a sneak peek. And so today's topic is actually focusing on staying safe online. And some of these things we just might take for granted that we know these things. Sometimes some of the stuff might be new. And so what I would ask you to do is, as we go through this session today, I just want to encourage you. Wait, let me just double check to make sure you can
I'm
even hear
checking.
me.
It's because it's still doing a countdown.
Okay, so
It's
hold on.
delayed.
Okay, so there is a delay. So we're just trying to see if you can hear us here in this room. Yes? Okay, awesome. So the topic and the information for today is on staying safe online. And so we're going to go through some stuff, but I will tell you to grab your smartphone or your tablet or your PC or your Mac, whatever types of digital devices that you use, because the concepts that we're going to talk about when it comes to safety on the internet is just universal things that you should think about as you're navigating through going online or a lot of other stuff. So what I'm going to do to make it easier for you all is I'm going to actually show up in a little corner. Uh-oh, maybe I'm not. Hold on, my plan is to show up in the corner. And then you'll see it on your screen in just one moment. So if you give me one moment, we're going to show the screen. Hang on one second. Awesome. Right, let me move this over here so you can see it. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it on my screen, and then you're going to see me. So hang on one second. You'll see me in a corner somewhere. I think that's how it's going to see. You'll see it. Let's see if it works. Ah, it works. Perfect. Hang on one second, and I'll be popping up in the circle here in just a moment. This is so funny. Double click and do the source for the camera. Oh, the production team, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay, hold on. So many cameras. Here we go. Perfect. So we're going to talk about this staying safe online today. And if you will take out, like I said, whatever digital device you want to use, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and start with, oh no, you really can't see it. Hold on. I'm not going to do my fancy pants because you can't really see it. So what I'm going to do is something different. Oh, watch the graphic go away. Shannon's probably cracking up because you're like, is this what she does? Yes, this is what I do when I'm here in a room by myself. Hold on, we're going to just take this away. So you're going to see it on the screen so you can see all the words. Perfect. And so, like I said, today is Welcome to Internet Safety, and you do not need any experience to get the fullness out of the class that we're going to be talking about today. So I just want to encourage you to just grab, write down notes, and any questions that you have, you can put them in the chat area, and then we'll be able to respond from there. So let's go to the next slide. Awesome. So keeping your secrets private. And what does that mean? It means that just like you would go and have conversations with people, you wouldn't tell everybody all your business, right? You wouldn't. Because if you told everybody all your business, you wouldn't have any privacy. And you wouldn't just walk up to a random stranger and say, let me give you this information. You would think about it. So just like that, what I also want you to be thinking about when it comes to your passwords, you never do want to share them. In conjunction, I would say, if you were like I was back in the day, up until I want to say maybe 11 years ago, I used to have a notebook with one piece of paper, and I had all my passwords written there. And I'm going to say no one's probably guilty of that. I'm just sharing what I used to do. But you don't want to do that because you're leaving yourself accessible, or if something happens with that notebook, some agencies that a lot of seniors deal with right now have like a verification process. So it's very difficult to reset those passwords. So you want to keep that in mind when you're thinking about your passwords and just any type of thing. And you don't, another thing is you also do not want to use the same password or variation thereof of the same password for all of your accounts, because if someone hacks you one place, that means that they would have access to you anywhere. So keep that in mind. Number two, the stranger test. If you would not tell a stranger on the street, then you don't do things online. And I would even say AI has become so sophisticated right now. What I'm doing often is if a call comes in and it seems like it's from a certain source, sometimes I'll ask, can I call you back? Versus just responding as if that person is someone. Recently, about a couple months ago, someone called and said they were calling from my bank. They even got as sophisticated enough to say like what the routing number is, because the routing number for most banks is a public access. So I just want to keep that in mind for you to let you know that as well. And then number three, you want to check before you share. Again, if you have any suspicion that something could be fraudulent, I would just say you do not want to respond to that. You want to make sure that you can verify that who that person is, who that source is, who they actually are. So keeping that in mind too. Let's go to the next slide. So what I want us to do right now is our first activity. And I know our class is small, but our first activity is the privacy guard. So I want you to practice what I'm going to share with you through this simple little exercise. So I want you to take 1 minute to think about your own safety shield. What I want you to do is think of what is one thing that you will never post online. For example, your home address. Number two, turn to the person that's next to you and share your answer. And then I'll give you just a couple of minutes to respond. And then I want to hear some of your feedback. You can either respond through chat or you can respond in the room. I feel like we should give you some thinking music. Let me give you some thinking music. Thinking music for 1 moment. Let's see what our thinking music's gonna be. Let's see. Is it thinking music? No, that's not thinking music, so we're not gonna turn that one on. Anywho. So, what is one place or one piece of information that you would not share, you would never post online?
My social.
Your social security number? Okay. Well, do you think that's something people obviously would know? Some people don't know. That's a good point, because if you go to certain sites, that is a very good point. People would say I wouldn't just post my social security number on any site, but sometimes you go to places and it will ask you for your social security number. So if in that case it does ask for that, what I try to do is two things. One, I will see if I can skip that question, or I'll check in the top of the header part and I'll share something with you in the future. It'll say HTTPS. That's usually meaning that it's a secure site. If it has an HTTP and there is no S, that means it's open. Anybody can see that. But even in that case, if it is an organization like a government entity, they usually have a whole verification system. But the way that you'll know now, because they put extra measures in for people, especially older people that are looking for Social Security or any other types of things that they're looking at, if it is a government site, on the top of that website, it will say it is an official government site with the US flag to the left of it. And it'll also end with the extension .gov. You cannot buy .gov if you are not an actual government entity to run a website. So those are a couple of things you can know if someone is asking for your social security. Number one, first train of thought is to not put it on there. But if you can confirm that they really need it, then you can do it that way. Another fun fact, even though this isn't internet safety, let's just say that you do need to get a secure document or an identity document to someone. What I'll say is, even though this sounds like a whole bunch of work, but I do it this way. Let's say they needed your social security number. You could text one part, you could call and give another part, you can email and give another part. So if somebody is able to go through all three of those channels to get that information, they're really good. But I would just say, thinking of ways that you can break up information so that you're not giving the full information on a single site. So that was our thing about our activity on safety for that. Let's go to our next slide, our next part of our presentation. Ooh, hold on. It's going everywhere but where it's supposed to go. Hold on, let me see if it'll go now. Perfect. Spotting a fake or a scam. We just talked about some of these things, but let me move my photo over here and make it a little bit smaller so you can really see this. When you think about spotting a fake or a scam online, there are some obvious things, but I want to share just a few of them with you. And this used to happen a lot, a long, long time ago, even when it came to stuff like porn. I know you're probably like, why is that? It would misspell a name. So let's say Disney is spelled Disney, and they know children are going to that website and they want to divert that traffic. It could be a little kid, and if they spell Disney Dizney, it could take them to either a fake site or it could take them to some bad, ugly sites. And so if you notice that something is spelled wrong, 9 times out of 10, that is not correct. And the AI and people have become so sophisticated, you got to be really, really careful with this. So when you're going to websites and you want to make sure you're looking and that you know how to spell the name of that company or organization. Another thing is weird or strange looking links. This will often happen in your email. So if you get an email and it says to click on this link, we don't click on links from people that we don't know. We just don't do that. You are opening yourself up to scams, and sometimes all it takes is for you to click on that link. Once you click on that link, if it is a scammer, what will happen is from that point, they could actually look at, it's called an IP address. That means everybody's computer, just like you have your own social security number, your computer and systems that you're on, they have their own social security numbers too, and it's called an IP address. So if it looks like it's taking you somewhere, know that when you start going to these links or clicking on different forms or responding in email or even now text, you could be opening yourself up for a scam. Someone else is asking you for money in a hurry. So I used that example a few just earlier today about this person calling and saying that they were from a larger bank in this area, and they were like, "Listen, because you'll say, well, what is your name? My name is Sam Brown, and my work ID is 64321." And he's like, "Someone's scamming you right now, so you need to do this." And I was like, this just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like this bank would call. Well, certain places will never call. Like the IRS never will call you. So if somebody says to the IRS, they are not. That is a lie. Certain parts of the bank would not call you if there's nothing that happened. So even if someone says they're from the fraud department, I would say, okay, I understand that. I would hang up the phone, and then I would call the fraud company, call the fraud department back on my own. I wouldn't trust the person just telling me that they're calling from the fraud department. Another thing is, if an offer seems too good to be true, I know I go by the name Techie Tashia, but I have to be honest with y'all. Let me tell you a story that happened. Ooh, I can't even believe I'm saying it out loud. So I was on Facebook Marketplace, and that is when you can go online and you can purchase products. And there was a Peloton bike, and I was trying to do something nice for somebody I knew. And I was like, I'm going to get this Peloton bike, because even though Peloton bikes have come down, so for those who do not know what a Peloton bike is, during the pandemic, it is the bike that you ride and there's a screen in front of you, and they were really expensive, and during the pandemic, they were selling out everywhere. Well, now we are post-pandemic, so now people are going back to their gyms, and they're going back to cycling or doing whatever they were doing before, so there's an influx of people selling these products. But I should know, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And it was. So as sophisticated as I tried, this scammer got me, y'all. Let me tell you what happened. So I go on Facebook Marketplace. I see the Peloton bike. I start asking the person questions. Now, here is the thing. I'm asking the person questions that only they would know. In my gut, it said, text the person. Now, listen. It would have took me 2 seconds to text the person. But I'm like, no. I asked them what church they went to. They said they went to that church. I asked them about the kids. They were giving me answers about the kids. Well, I then go to make the payment on Apple Pay. Now, here is the thing. Scammers are good, but some of these big companies like Apple and Google, they're more sophisticated than most scammers if you pay attention to the protocols that they put in place. So I'm just about to do the Apple Pay, and Apple Pay says, this looks like a scam. Now, you think your girl would have been paying attention? No, because I was multitasking at the moment. And I said, I ain't got time to verify, because I didn't ask the questions online. I've been asking the person. They've been responding that seemed appropriate, questions that only this person would know. So I thought, and I sent the money. But let me tell y'all, after I dropped the $500, because that was no little bit of money, at least that's not to me, I was like, you know what? Something don't seem right about this. I didn't text, I called the person and she said, I am so sorry. This scammer had locked her out of her Facebook page, could see everything on the Facebook page, had locked out the comments, and was posting all of these things. So I wasn't the only one who almost got scammed. But the point I'm making is if something seems to be true, pause for 5 seconds in your busy little world and just start being more inquisitive about if it's too good to be true, it probably is. The fifth thing is that person pretending to know you. Now, here is the reason why you have to be careful with AI as you're using it. I know a lot of us use Hey Siri, but people have devices now to get more sophisticated than ever. There's a whole nother app called Hey Gen. And there's even apps with, you can do this with ChatGPT and other tools. If someone, see, I done said Hey Siri, and now Siri thinks I'm talking to it. That's a perfect example. If you are out and about and somebody is in proximity enough and has the right mic and they can record your voice for about 30 to 45 seconds, they can then go get an image of you, or they can use software and they can create a whole script saying, hey, this is your granddaughter so-and-so and such and such and such and such. Grandma, I need $5. Now that used to be a scam where it was another person. Now they are so sophisticated, they can actually use your voice. Why am I sharing that with you? It's just really important that you are paying attention when people are saying that they're you, because there's some things we can control, there's some things that we can't control. But what I will say, if they say it's granddaughter so-and-so, and they're calling from a friend's phone and they're in a hard situation, you take the time to hang up that phone and call their parent. Don't even call them, call a parent or someone that would know them so that you can verify that it was or it was not them. Or you can call that person back, but don't let that be the only person that you're calling. Because the tools that are out here right now, I'm not saying this to scare you, it's just things have become very, very sophisticated. So those are the things about spotting a fake, okay? So again, do not click on anything. Don't feel so rushed. Take your time. Let's go to the next slide. So let's talk about, can you spot the trick? Ready? So I want you to look at this fake email on the screen. And I want you to ask yourself, raise your hand if you could see the trick that's in this email. So are you ready for it? Here we go. Where is the email? I don't even have my email example. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm using this example. See, this is what happens when you use AI to help you create content that you don't even have the email there. I was supposed to prepare an email, apparently. But let me ask you a question. Even if we think about emails, if you don't see one on the screen, what would be a telltale sign that that could be a fake email?
You mean in the address or in the body of it?
Just in general.
I have found issues in the address. It's mostly at work because they'll send an email with the person's name, but the @ on the other end is weird. It doesn't match.
Yes, and then what I would say even more sophisticated is it could be the name, and let's just say it doesn't show the email address in the sender, right? Because if you look at your chain of emails, it could say this is from Shannon Carter. And somebody could reply to that email and they didn't take the time to say, click on that name, and to your point, see what email address it is. Same thing with scams and emails where it has links and says, click here. Do we click here? No. We do not click here unless we know that it's something that we can click on. So let's go to Be Kind and Smart Online. Okay, so we have Be Kind and Smart Online. So here are some things when it comes to posting online. What I share with people often, even before this is off script, is that when we are thinking about posting online, you got to ask yourself, would I want everybody to see this picture or see me looking like whatever? I know even what I tell young people is, it's one thing even about what you post for yourself. Right now, I say Google yourself because you don't know what someone's posted of you. And so that could be just as damaging. So when you think about posting and be kind, you want to make sure that you will be okay with everybody seeing this, but where it says be kind, it says treat others online the same way that you would want to be treated. So if you see your friend that you know always is looking fly and put together and they look a hot mess, don't post them. That's not being kind. And then finally, think before sharing. Because once you post it, even when you think you've deleted something, know that some things are never deleted. They're never deleted. So even on Snapchat, where they say, oh, in Snapchat it's gone, is it really gone? We don't know that. So I would just say to you right now, systems are so sophisticated. Before you press post, just make sure you think about this. And this is for our young people. Even when we go through seasons for certain reasons that seem like they are justified at the moment, what you really need to think about as a young person is, if I post this today and a potential employer was to see this 5 years from now, 7 years from now, would this be a good look for the career that I want to go into? So it's really important to be mindful of that. And if you don't know what your future looks like, I would say you be even more conservative, because people see what you post and it lasts there forever. So, what do you do? Wait, what to do if you feel unsafe? So this is a little tip thing for you to say. What do you do if you feel unsafe? Number one, you want to stop. You want to block. And then when it says save, what I say is sometimes you don't know how to take a screenshot. If it's on your phone, I will learn, and I had it last week, we were talking about saving. So if you don't know how to screen share, do a screen capture on your phone, then find another phone and take a picture of that screen, because maybe you're not as sophisticated enough to know how to do it on your phone. If it's on your laptop, take your phone and take an actual picture. I take screenshots all the time because I use Apple products, and something might pop up and I'm like, I might not see it again. So I'll take a screen capture just so that when I'm talking to someone, if something goes wonky with my system or something goes crazy with my phone or my tablet, I can have a reference point for that technician to help me. So keep that in mind when you feel unsafe. And I would say be overboard with it. Yes, in times when it comes to internet safety and online safety, do the most. You know how people like you doing the most? Do the most. Do the most. Because it's better to be cautious than try to course correct because you felt uncomfortable. And even when it comes to pictures, I'm not mad at those parents that say I don't want my kids posted on pictures, because again, in this day and age with AI, all I need is a photo and I can make a whole storyline with your kid's face and another body, or good or bad. So just keep that in mind when you say I don't feel unsafe. Increase your radar of not feeling safe. Okay, the activity is, who is your safe person? So what I want you to think about, even when it comes to things around internet, and I know like for my mom, some people tell you like even for your person that you want on your phone, Apple does have a nice feature now that you can actually set it up that if you lose your phone, it can alert somebody. That's a part of the way you can set up your phones. But if you don't have those precautions in place, you want to think about who is your safe person. If you're a young person, name that one adult to help you if something feels like it's wrong online. And if you don't have a person, that's your homework assignment. Find your person that knows just a little bit more than you on technology that you can verify with if something seems like it's off. And then save that number. And then remember this: asking for help is being smart, it's not being in trouble. And that is more for young people. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but it's better to try to course correct to the best of your ability than it is to just let things go because you feel, oh, I don't want to feel stupid because I don't know this. So at any age, know who your safety person is when it comes to your internet and online safety. And so the final thing that I want to say is that you are in control. You can keep secrets, meaning that your passwords or your personal information. Spotting scams, again, look for all the red flags that we just talked about. Be kind. Do not post others without their permission, because you're leaving that footprint online. And then if you need help, ask for it. And that is our Techie Tasha Teaches today. It is an impromptu session. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If there's other topics that you want to see in the future, let me know. And I hope you have an amazing day. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Now I got to figure out, got to bring my mouse to the right screen. All these screens, y'all. Have a good one. Let me bring it to the right screen so I can end this session.